What's up, guys? My name's Mitch. I have a very special GOAT format deck profile for you guys today. Last weekend, I went to the GOAT tournament in Renton, Washington, hosted by Shane's Cards, and managed to get all the way to top 4. My only loss for the whole event was the guy who got first place. Nevertheless, let's get into it. Starting off with monsters, I played 3 Magician of Faith. Now, this card is undeniably the GOAT of GOAT format. Being able to recur cards like Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, self-explanatory. Play 3. Next are the burn monsters, so 3 Stealth Bird. Now what this one does is that whenever it is flipped face up, your opponent takes 1000 damage, so it's kind of like Wave Motion Cannon. And then it flips itself back face down so that you can use it again next turn. A very useful card, especially in the burn strategy. Other 2 burn monsters were 2 Des Koala, burns for the amount of cards your opponent has in their hand. Being able to resolve this card after cards like Morphing Jar or after they have Pot of Greed, it can be a blowout sometimes. Definitely helps with the burn strategy. So 5 burn monsters there. Played 2 Jars. Both of these are complete blowout cards. You're always setting basically your whole hand to your field, so being able to draw 5 for free is insane. This card, you don't care about your own monsters, you don't even care about your opponent's monsters. Being able to set a bunch of really strong flip monsters or grab a bunch of nice spells and traps to your hands, incredible card. The reason it's limited. Play a few one-ofs here, so 1 Sangan. This lets you surge basically all the really good monsters in your deck, so any of the Jars, Stealth Bird, very useful card. You can even grab Sinister Serpent. I play 1 Sinister Serpent. Being able to still gain advantage off of being Delinquent Duoed or being able to recur it every turn just to block an attack. Very strong card. 1 Spirit Reaper. Pretty much just a blocker. Never really go in for the discard effect when you do battle damage. Nonetheless, it's a good one of. And 1 Magical Merchant. Basically searches just a random spell and trap card from your deck, but since your deck is mostly spell and trap cards, this can grab you some really neat stuff. Good one of. That's it for monsters. Now on to spells. Obviously you have to play the 2 best draw cards in the game. Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity. These cards draw you into what you need, help you advantage out your opponent. 3 Wave Motion Cannon. There's a reason this card is such a hot commodity in the current meta right now. It's even better back in 2005. You play so many stall cards, so many burn cards. Just even seeing one of these cards is an extremely potent threat against your opponent. I usually protect this card with my other protection cards like Solemn Judgment, which you'll see in a second. Most of the time, opponent, when they have like Breaker Magical Warrior or MST, they'll always go for this card. And there's a reason for that. Play 3. For battle protection spells, 3 Messenger of Peace. Another stall card. The 100 life points maintenance cost is basically nothing in this deck. Really don't care about how many life points you have. As long as you have at least 1 life point, you're probably going to kill your opponent by burn damage. Nonetheless, card is great at 3. 2 more battle protection spells. Swords of Revealing Light, level limit area B. These are both limited for a reason. Extremely strong stall cards. 2 Book of Moon. You need this for Magician of Faith. Lets you reset her. Grab more spells if you're drawing cards off Pot of Greed or Graceful Charity from that combo. You're going to win the game no matter what. It's also very good spot removal. Best neg 1 in the game. If you need to flip a Jinzo or just deal with problem monsters, this card is going to be your friend. That's it for spells. Now onto the traps. I played 3 Solemn Judgment. I did borrow 1 from my friend, but 3 is necessary in this deck. You need to protect your continuous cards like Wave Motion, like Level Limit Area B, Messenger of Peace. Those are all part of your win condition, and without them it is very hard to defeat your opponent. The life point cost for this card, you don't really care. Like I said earlier, you just need 100 life points to win. 3 Nightmare Wheel. This card is sort of like Fiendish Chain. They can't attack or change their battle positions. However, they also take 500 damage during each of your standby phases, making this just like another wave motion cannon, but also stops your opponent from doing anything. 3 of in this deck. 3 just desserts, burns your opponent for a ton of damage, no explanation needed, and the 1 ceasefire. I found myself siding this card out a lot. I use the Geometry a lot, and I don't think this card synergizes with that card very well. Plus, kind of turns off my own flip effects, which sometimes can really hurt me. So I think it's okay at 1. I usually side it out. 2-0 Geometry. This card is semi-limited. Clogs your opponent's board. If you manage to kill any of the tokens, they take 300 damage. Mostly, though, it's just anti-scapegoat and feels just desserts. Last 2 cards. Ring of Destruction. So, spot removal, lots of burn damage, and this is pre-errata, so you can bring your opponent for game with this card in this format. Pretty good. The 1 Reckless Greed. This card is limited for a reason. It says draw 2, with basically no downside to it. Every time I saw this card, I drew into what I needed. The skip your next 2 draw phases, you don't care. You just sit on your stall cards. The 2 turns really doesn't matter in this deck. That's 40 cards. Deck performed really well for me today. I really wouldn't change any of the ratios. I feel like this is a very good build. Really only lost to misplays today, or last weekend. Game 3 of semifinals had Solemn Judgment sets and 3 face-up wave motion cannons. He MST'd the Judgment and then heavy stormed the 3 wave motions. Thought I was goner, but managed to make a comeback actually the next 2 turns. However, made a mistake. Didn't set a Spirit Reaper from my hand when I should have, and he managed to swing for game next turn. Oh well, lesson learned. So, side deck, disclaimer on this. I really just kind of grabbed cards from my other GOAT control deck. Cards that I thought might be useful in this format. I don't have a ton of experience playing GOAT format, but a lot of these cards actually did really, really well today. I'm glad I put them in my side. So just a few monsters, Night Assailant for Delinquent Duo. A lot of these side deck cards are for going second, this one included. If you get Delinquent Duo'd, you can add back like a Moth or something like that. Really good card. D Warrior Lady for going second. You just want to be super aggressive, get rid of their Moths early, get rid of their Morphing Jars, get rid of any problematic monster that you see fit. Jinzo included. 2 Dekoichis, just for more stall cards. It does replace itself, which is nice. Blocks an attack, which is nice. Solid card. That's it for monsters. Did play Delinquent Duo in the side. Didn't feel like this card was necessary in main. However, when I did side it in, and I saw it every time I did, it was an absolute blowout. It's great even in the burn strategy. Snatch Steal, don't play this card. You don't want to give your opponent life points. That was a mistake. 2 Noblemen of Crossout, so same reason as DD Warrior Lady. You really just want to be very aggressive going second. Get rid of the problem monsters early. The 1 MST. For the mirror or any kind of back row heavy decks, more slower control strategies, it's really nice. A couple battle traps here. Sakaretsu Mirror Force. Just for the beatdown decks, really. 1 Bottomless. If you know they're just going to max out on breakers or other stuff like that, this card is really good against that card. And 3 Dust Tornado. So same reason as MST. It's really good versus the mirror. Absolutely crucial versus the mirror, which I didn't play any of. Everyone, I think, was playing Go Control. I think I was the only person not playing Go Control at the tournament. So I never sided this card in, but it's nice to have. And that's it for the deck profile, guys. Shout outs I want to give to Manav for obviously being the best duelist in the world. Wink, wink. Shout out to Shanes for being the best locals in the world. Shout out to Jordan for letting me borrow that Solemn Judgment. Shout out everybody at Shanes for being awesome. Thank you, guys. This is Manav's Tiebreakers, signing out.